The Lord be with you.
And with your spirit.
A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Matthew.
Glory to you, Lord.
At that time, Jesus exclaimed, I give praise to you, Father, Lord of heaven and earth, for although you have hidden these things from the wise and the learned, you have revealed them to little ones. Yes, Father, such has been your gracious will. All things have been handed over to me by my Father. No one knows the Son except the Father, and no one knows the Father except the Son, and anyone to whom the Son wishes to reveal him. Come to me, all you who labor and are burdened, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am meek and humble of heart, and you will find rest for yourselves. For my yoke is easy and my burden light. The Gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ.
Come to me, all you who are burdened. You know, that's an offer we can't refuse. Come to me, all of you who labor and are heavy burdened. God is giving us an invitation through Jesus today, but it's only for the burdened. Is there anybody here who has no burdens? It's our invitation. Today, the Lord is inviting us to take our burdens and give them to Him. It is an incredible invitation because all of us are burdened. Nobody is exempt. At some point in every one of our lives, we're going to have, and what a burden is, all that a burden is a weight. It's a weight upon our shoulders. It burdens us down. You know, we are told that the greatest glory of God is when we are fully alive. He wants us light. He wants us alive. He wants us like little Deacon, just filled with life, and everything is new. But after a while, everything gets really old and really heavy. Pesante, the Italians call it, very heavy stuff. It's like the burden of a beast, the burden of a donkey, and whether it's a physical burden. Every we wake up in one day and we find out that we've got a physical illness that we never thought would come, and we're brought low and we're weighed down by it, or if it's a psychological illness or financial. We wake up and we find out, my goodness, the student loans are coming home to bite me. I never thought that I would be in such incredible debt. I'm living from paycheck to paycheck. It's heavy, it's hard, it's a burden. It's an albatross walked around our neck. Or whether it's a relational burden, a relational pain. And I think of all of the hurts, all of the pains, all of the burdens that we carry. There's nothing more painful than a broken relationship, especially with somebody that we love. You know, there's a saying that God never gives you any more than you can bear. That's baloney. That ain't true. It's simply not true. There are times in every one of our lives when we simply can't take it anymore. It's more than we can bear. It's too much for me to carry. And the harder I try, the worse it gets. The more I try to get it under control, the more it gets out of control. So what do? And so He makes us this wonderful offer. I'll give you something to do. You don't have to carry the burden alone. No one. And no matter how heavy or how painful or how difficult it is, you don't have to carry it alone. But there is something you have to do. He says it very, very clearly what you have to do. You have to be, you got to be like Tegan. You got to be like a child. He says, and he begins this beautiful passage, which we probably should go through almost line by line because it is so, every word is just packed with meaning. He begins by saying, I praise you and I bless you, Lord God of heaven and earth. Beginning, anytime you want to ask God for something, begin with a little praise. Butter him up a little bit, okay? He can handle it. I praise you and I bless you, Lord God, because what you have hidden from the learned and the clever. Who is the learned and the clever? I'm looking at him. Anybody above the age of reason. Now, the more we learn, the worse it gets, because at that point we believe that we can control the situation if we just double our efforts and work a little bit harder. And at that point we get caught in our minds. Most of us are caught in our minds. We begin to think about our problem, and the more we think about it, the more it grows. Or we may think about the negative emotion that we feel because of the betrayal, and the more we think about it, the more it grows, until it comes a point when it actually possesses us, and we are possessed by our thoughts, and we are possessed by our feelings, and possessed by our ideologies. You know, one of the reasons that Jesus was forever casting out demons was to get rid of this stuff that's keeping us from being alive. But it does weigh us out, and it's all, forgive me, most of our pain is in our mind. Most of our physical pain will pass, but the mental pain remains there forever. And I know the saying, the mind is a terrible thing to waste, and the waste is a terrible thing to mind. But that's another homily. When we are caught in our mind, when we are learned and we are clever, we are caught. We try to figure it out by ourselves, and we can't. I was told that the ultimate oxymoron is peace of mind. And I think it's true. I've never met anyone who is at peace who's in their mind. And I've never met anybody who's in their mind thinking about it 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, who's at peace. Literally, we have to get out of our mind. How do we get out of our mind? I praise you and I bless you, Lord God, Father of all, because what you have hidden from the learned and the clever, those who are trying to do it by themselves and they can't, you have revealed to the merest children, to the littlest children. Why? Because the children live in the eternal now. They're not living out of their categories. They're not living out of their concepts. They're not living out of their angers. They're not living out of their resentments. They're not living out of their thoughts. They're not caught in their mind. When they're happy, they're happy. When they're sad, they're sad. And by the time she's a toddler, little Tegan's going to come to Mommy. She goes, Mommy, I scratched myself. And Mommy goes, Mommy's going to make it better. She goes, and she's going to put bacteria all over it, and the kid's going to get better. And it's true. Oh, come to me. But you can only come as a little child. You can't come as this big, clever adult. We say that a child can't receive Holy Communion until they each reach the age of reason. Do you know why they have to wait to the age of reason? Because that's when they need it. She doesn't need it. She doesn't need it. The little ones don't need it. They're already in communion. All they got to do is run to Daddy. All they got to do is run to Mommy. And they're in communion. Nothing is separating them from their parents. Nothing. My happiest memory is being a 5-year-old boy wrapped in my father's arms. And I can remember rocking back and forth in Daddy's arms, and in Daddy's arms I was utterly, absolutely safe. And so are we. Come to me, all of you who labor and are working at it and find life burdensome, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon your shoulders. What does that mean? You don't have to carry it alone. There are always 2 yokes, one for one of the oxen and the other one for the other one. And the yoke master, the one who makes those yokes, by the way, they're carved specifically for the person or the oxen who's going to carry it. They're tailor-made. Whatever yoke we've got, whatever we are carrying, whatever burden we have, is going to be tailor-made for us, and then the one who is going to carry it with us. And you know as well as I know that when you've got something that is unspeakable and utterly painful, when you finally shared it with somebody who could actually hear you, have compassio, have the passion with you that you have with them, it's lightened. The burden is lightened, and you're set free. Come to me, all of you who find life burdensome, and I will refresh you. Take my yoke upon me, you, and learn from me. I'm meek, I'm gentle of heart, and your souls your souls will find rest. So now, what are your burdens? What are you carrying? What's weighing you down? What's keeping you from being fully alive? And then, what are you going to do about it?